Okay, first of all, we'll see. Guys, can you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, first of all, install Hyper-V in Windows 10. Okay. So, compulsory. What is the main requirement? It must be Pro or Enterprise, 64-bit compulsory. Minimum RAM for a 64-bit installation 2 GB RAM, and plus additionally 2 GB is required. Totally 4 GB is required. Okay, and virtualization technology must be enabled. So we'll see first of all. Right click, go to Task Manager, and go to Task Manager Performance. See, system will little bit slower. Okay, so CPU. So say single CPU only. Better two CPUs are better. But if you are observed, there is a um, virtualization enabled. You can see virtualization is enabled. So this is a virtual machine, but still I got a virtualization enabled because few settings I made it before I install OS and after creation of virtual machines. Okay, there is a few settings you have to do it to get virtualization enabled. Okay, so what are those settings? You can try in YouTube set, that is how to install Windows 10 or how to install Windows Server 2019, like that. So check it once in my videos. Create VM, otherwise you can check it. Create a virtual machine for Windows 10. Create a virtual machine for 2019. That is also how to give those settings. It is there. Okay. So three lines I added. I given it in a description also how what those three lines. So to get this option. Okay. In your virtual machine, if you are not getting this one because of those settings not given. That's it. Very simple. Next. Memory, actually 4 GB I have to put it. So 2 GB RAM is there, but I have to put a 4 GB RAM. But when I start my server, so server also will take some size, right? So both will lot of load on my PC. Okay. So I think for your last one, so then it's okay. For next batch, I will create a freshly. So this is enabling. So these things you have to check it. So first one is virtualization enabled or not. That is a very important one. And of course, it is a 64-bit. I know because it's a i5 processor. Third generation generally it is a 64-bit. If it is not a 64-bit, no enabled option won't be there. Okay, understand? Without 64-bit, virtualization won't be there. So that is the main thing. Even if it is 64-bit, virtualization may not be there. That is a point. Okay. So again, I'm telling, even if it is a 64-bit machine, virtualization technology may not be there, may not be there, or enable or disabled or not, or no feature at all. Okay, if virtualization enabled is there, virtualization technology enabled is there, definitely it is a 64 because that technology not there in a 32-bit. That's the main difference between 32-bit and 64-bit. So one of the main feature is virtualization technology enabled or disabled feature available in 64-bit only. Okay, everything is interlink only, guys. Okay, next, as I said, Hyper-V is a feature. Hyper-V is a feature in the Windows 10. Hyper-V is a feature. Okay, so first of all, I checked. So what I checked, virtualization. Okay, enabled or not. So that is good. Of course, it is a 64-bit. I use only RAM is a 2 GB only. So it's okay, no problem. Okay, now how to install it? So you have to go to control panel. Go to control panel. In the control panel, uh, Windows features on or off. Turn Windows features on or off. Also, you can say your turn Windows features on or off. So, how to go for that one? So, first of all, go to Control Panel. Okay. So, this is the Control Panel, guys. For everything, someone has to come and teach you. That may not happen always, right? Okay. Certain things we can teach you, but everything we can't. We won't get, teach you. Okay. So, what to do? Simply to learn, go to Control Panel. First, start with the Control Panel elements. Open it. No need to do anything. Observe it. Okay. So, go to Control Panel. Turns Windows switches, programs and features. Programs and features. First, go to Control Panel, programs and features. This is the thing you have to go. Turn Windows feature on or off. So, but I'm going to add one more point here. So, what is that one? Programs and features. Okay. So, turn Windows feature on or off. Click here. Just click here. So, this is the Windows features. Okay. You go to your virtual machine, so no need to do any physical machine and all. So go to your virtual machine, look at what is this, what is this, what is this. You will understand one day. So Windows 10 features, containers, data center bridging is also there, device lockdown, um, guarded host. Okay, a guarded host. This is the Internet Explorer. If you uncheck it and click OK, Explorer will be removed from your PC, and also you can install it. No problem. Okay, this is the web server. We can make this one as a web server. Print to PDF type. Print to PDF. Okay, like that you will get a lot of features here. See telnet client, TFTP client, okay, virtual machine platform, hypervisor platform. This kind of stuff is also there, but we don't use it, and really it is will give you problem also. So, okay, so Windows subsystem for Linux. If you install this one, you can run some Linux based applications also, like that few features we can able to run. Okay, so this is the features. Just I want to tell a features, that's it. Okay, important is Hyper-V. Expand, like this. Expand, you can see management tools and platform. If you expand this one, you can see like this. So management tools, under that one, GUI management tool, module for hypervisor shell. For example, if you are using a Windows 10 or Windows 8 professional or a enterprise, 32-bit, not 64-bit. Okay, so earlier I told now, so that is where somewhere I told. Okay, in a picture only it is there. So you have a Windows 10 professional or enterprise, 32-bit, not 64-bit. In that case, you'll get only this part only. This part you can't able to select. Even if you don't have a virtualization technology, even you are a 64-bit candidate, but virtualization technology not there, you cannot select the platform. Okay. So what is the condition for a platform? Again, it is first is 64-bit. Okay. If no 64-bit, CPU come OS is not a 64-bit, and or, because it can be and or also. So or virtualization technology, either no or disabled or not available, or not available. No means not available or disabled. In these conditions, okay, we can install Hyper-V manager only. but not Hyper-V platform. Okay, so this is we can't able to do it. Okay, if it is not happen to your virtual machine, still no problem. Okay, so I selected all the things. Okay, so this is the platform. No platform means you cannot create and manage the virtual machines in your physical machine. Okay, but I'm selecting because I'm getting this feature because already I set it certain features. So virtualization is enabled in my PC, so I can able to select all the things. Okay, so both manager and platform also. So I click OK. It will take time to install. Once it is installed, it will take time to restart also. Once it is restarted, then I will show you the screen. So conditions must be remember guys. Minimum requirement to install Windows 10. Minimum requirements to install a Hyper-V means plus 2 GB required. Means your Windows 10 is 64-bit. Okay, so restart now. Click on a restart now. So automatically it will restart. So no need to do anything. Just restart. Okay, so minimum requirements, and next one is Hyper-V. To install Hyper-V platform and manager, so compulsory pro and enterprise, because home don't have a Windows 10 feature. Next one is compulsory virtualization must be enabled. Virtualization technology available only 64-bit machines, so compulsory check virtualization technology is enabled or disabled, or it is there or not. Okay, so then only we can install both the things. Otherwise we can only install manager only. Okay, so these are the how to install Hyper-V in a Windows 10 or a Windows 8. Both are same. Both are same. Windows 8 or Windows 10. Both are same. Okay, so I'm checking. So why we need a 2 plus 2 GB means 2 GB minimum for 64-bit machine to run. To run a Hyper-V services, we need a little bit more. But when you create a virtual machines, compulsory we need a 4 GB RAM. Okay, sometimes it will restart one time, sometimes it will restart two times. So don't have worry, because how it is works, there is a diagram. So I will draw directly here. This is my Windows 10 or a Windows Server 2019, 16 or 12. Here I have a hardware. I have a hardware means CPU, RAM and storage hard disk. So this is my hardware. Okay, and I have a operating system. Either it is Windows 8 or Windows 10 Professional Enterprises 64-bit, or a 2008 64-bit, or a 2012, 2016, 2019, any OS. Okay, these OSs. On top of it, as a feature, remember guys, Windows 10, sorry, Hyper-V is not a application. Hyper-V is not a application. Hyper-V is a feature in the Windows 8, Windows 10 Enterprise and Professional. And Hyper-V is a role in a 2008 64-bit machine, 2008 R2, 2012 12 R2, and 16 and 19. In these servers, it is a role. Okay, so when you install this Hyper-V feature or a role, first of all, it based on operating system, so it will install on your operating system, then it will install in your hy- hardware. So actually, some people easily tell Hyper-V install in a operating system, then it will virtualize your hardware and use it. So after installation, means after complete installation, no use of yours, so it will directly sitting on your hardware only. Okay, so sitting on a hardware only. Normally VMware always works based on OS and then hardware, but Hyper-V initially it installed on OS, but actually next time it is installed on hardware only, means same time only. Okay, it directly interact with your hardware, and it won't depends upon your operating system control, but it is there also. Okay, it is finally restarted. Okay, good. My PC in the, actually my PC is in domain, but I didn't log in as a domain user, just a local user only I log in, but actually this PC is in domain. Okay, first of all I will show you Hyper-V environment, then I will show you in a server side how to install in a server. Okay, it is installed, no icon, nothing is there, so just wait 2 minutes because it is still loading. And it is also Windows 10 enterprise evaluation, so you can see from here, and it is license is expired, 180 days completed, so very old one, CTS 3 batch time. Okay, so in this list also it is not there, but we'll try. H, where is H? So W, Windows administrative tools, Windows administrative tools. You can see Hyper-V Manager. You can see Hyper-V Manager, Hyper-V Quick Create. Two options are there. What I'm going to do is I want to put this Hyper-V Manager in this side, like a tile. What? How to do it? Right click, pin to start. So we'll try. Yeah, it is there. And also for Quick Create also we'll see both the things. Both we got it. Okay. So next time you no need to search it. Simply it is on the screen. So first I will go to Hyper-V Manager. See, here it is. It is loading. See, this is my computer name. My Windows 10 computer name is CTS3 Win C1. This is my computer name. That's why it is showing mine. If I create any virtual machine here, which created and run in my PC only, so that is here. So simply go to new, create a virtual machine, new virtual machine. Just I will show you. This is a wizard for creating new virtual machine. Okay, see it is. You can give a name for a virtual machine. So I will give my VM1. What happened? Slow system, na? Okay. You can choose different location where you want to store the virtual machine, D drive, C drive, like that. You can use it. Next, why it is not showing another two options? Yeah. Generation 1, generation 2. What is a generation 1? Read it very carefully. The virtual machine generation support 32-bit and 64-bit guest operating system and provide virtual hardware which has been available in all previous versions of Hyper-V. What is a generation 2? This virtual machine generation provides support for newer virtualization features, has UEFI based firmware, and requires a supported 64-bit operating system. Means in a generation 2 you can install 64-bit operating systems and UEFI based firmware supported operating systems only, like a Windows 8, Windows 10, uh, 2008 12, sorry, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, 2019 servers we can install in a generation 2. But in a generation 1, 32-bit OS, 64 type of bit OS, means any Windows operating system we can install it easily. Even Linux, Unix operating systems, both in 32-bit, 64-bit BIOS support OS, we can able to install in the generation 1 option. Means generation 1 for everything, for every type of operating system, for every type of operating system, all accepts all. It is only for a certain people only. Once you are create a virtual machine, you can't do it. You can select this one if your internet is connected. Okay, so this is a RAM selection, startup memory RAM selection, how much RAM you want to put it. So 1024 means when I start my virtual machine, 1 GB RAM is allocated to start virtual machine. Okay, to start a virtual machine. So use dynamic memory for virtual machines. What is use dynamic memory for virtual machine? I will tell this one. Guys, listen carefully. I will complete everything here only. No, I don't want to go for server also because we don't have a time. It is about to 5 o'clock. Hmm. I don't know how many people really understand and really don't feel worried also. So guys, see here it is. This is my virtual machine. I given a startup memory is 1024 MB. MBs. Okay. So this is the virtual machine startup memory. It means when I start this virtual machine, so I started a virtual machine. So our Hyper V allocate 1 GB for VM, 1 GB RAM for VM. That's it. When it is started, that's it. Okay. Next, dynamically, dynamic RAM, dynamic RAM. So what is this dynamic memory? So I will say, when I run a machine, so this is my machine. Okay, right, my physical machine. Normally when I start the machine, it required a 2 GB RAM. Okay, for loading application services and all. If I open some application, if I open application, it required more RAM, right? So maybe now total RAM is consuming 3 GB. Total RAM is 3 GB, my system is consuming. After some time, I closed everything. My current RAM is only 1.5 GB. So what happened? When I start, it is 2 GB and 2 GB to increase to 3 GB because I open some application. Now I close all the application, nothing do. So automatically it go down to 1.5 consuming. So you can see from my physical RAM task manager. Guys, don't wait for a server. Okay, so we don't have a time, so then we don't go for it. See, it's 3.3 GB. Maybe if I close something, okay, so what I will do, what is this PP? Okay, what I have to close, so I will close this one. So maybe available RAM will may increases. Okay, we don't need all these things. 3.5 available memory. So available memory increasing. If I open any app, maybe some app I open, it required more RAM memory. Okay, so but it maximum expand up to 12 GB because my total RAM capacity is 12 GB only. So it increases decreases depends upon the load. Same for virtual machine. If when it is started, it take only 1 GB from physical memory. Okay, initially it is take 1 GB only, and some applications or services load increases, it can expand like 2 GB or 3 GB, like that it keep expanding. Okay, it keeps expanding based on the load, and it will keep collides. It means in virtual machine load increases, it take more RAM. Load decreases, it take less RAM. from your physical machine. No dedicated RAM. Okay, no dedicated RAM. So normally in VMware we have a dedicated RAM, so I given a 2 GB for this virtual machine, so it is take only 2 GB, only it will take only 2 GB only. Okay, so from the physical RAM. But here it is not like that. If you select this one, okay, if you select this one, so load increases, it take more. Load decreases, it take less. So lesser is 32 MB, more is almost like there is a some 24 terabytes or something, it will be there. Okay, 2 terabyte or something. How to verify once more? It is showing in MB now, so that's why GBs maybe something around 250. Okay, next, it is showing network not connected. Okay, default switch, this is a new feature, default switch switcher. So we'll see that one. Okay, network not connected, and also it is having some default switch. We'll see that one because it's a new Windows 10 now. So next one is create a virtual hard disk. You're creating a virtual machine means you require a virtual hard disk. Basically format is VHDX only. Maximum support is 64 terabyte of one single virtual hard disk we can able to put it. And later you can add more. And also you can add a existing virtual hard disk, means already you have a virtual hard disk, you can add that one. Or you can say add, attach a virtual hard disk later. Now you want to create a machine, you put a hard disk later. So these are the options. Next, so here it is, install operating system later, or install operating system from CD DVD, install operating system from bootable floppy, install operating system for network by based installation. What is this network based installation? There is a server called WDS servers, Windows Deployment Services. Means through this server, okay, using this server through the network, through network I can install operating system to multiple PCs at a time. Okay, what we need, DHCP. In a DHCP we need a boot P protocol. Boot P protocol. DHCP boot P. DHCP boot P for boot machines through network. Okay, that is called boot DHCP boot P. Okay, next, WDS is to deploy voice into their client machines through network simultaneously, not one by one, at a time 10 20 machines you can able to install it. Okay, so that is WDS, that is called a network based installation. So some are with a boot with a floppy disk type is there. So you can use either your physical DVD or a ISO image file to load ISO image file, and you can install a operating system, or you can choose later also. Okay, later I will selecting now. Next, so this is a totally conclusion summary. You can finish it. Okay, I'm going back again once again to show you generation 1 and generation 2 differences again. So what is the generation 1? Any operating system, 32-bit, 64-bit, Windows servers, Linux, Unix, okay, anything acceptable in a generation 1. And also in generation 1, you can load the operating system, okay, using a physical DVD also. You can use a physical DVD to load the operating system, and also you can use floppy disk to load the operating system. Remember that one. You can use CDR DVD, physical DVD you can use it, CDR DVD, or a virtual floppy disk also we can able to use to load the virtual machine, load the OS. Okay, next, generation 2. What is a generation 2? Only new type of OS like a 2012 server, 2012 R2, 2016, 2019 servers, Windows 8, Windows 10, 64-bit machines, and UEFI supported operating systems must be there. No BIOS, only BIOS supporting operating system won't work. UEFI based support must be there in a generation 2. And if I select a generation 2, So what is the difference here? You can load the operating system by using ISO image file array through network base only. No physical DVD, CD DVD or a floppy disk. Virtual floppy disk also not there here. You have to load OS with a bootable image file like ISO image file or a network based installation only a load. Okay, so like this. So we will get some installation options and we can finish it also, or you can cancel it. So once you are finished, okay, I'm not going to open the virtual machine and show you because it's already 5 o'clock. Okay, so I will show you a few more things here in the switches mainly. Okay, then I will close it. This virtualization. Very good. Generation 1 and generation 2, definitely there is a confusion. So I will give you a list out. So once you have created a virtual machine, once I created a virtual machine, I can't change the generation. Remember, once I create a virtual machine, I can't change the generation. I can't change it, but I can change few things by go to settings. Okay, so here it is showing a number of virtual processors and how much should be allocated. Memory, I can change it. Enable dynamic memory. This is startup memory. So dynamic memory from 512 MB RAM to 1 terabyte, it will changes. Okay. Security, enable secure boot. This is a new feature in a 2016. This is 19 server, but in 2016 this is newly introduced. Secure boot 2016. Remember. So what it is, you can read it from here only. Okay. So firmware is a definitely firmware is UEFI only. This is UEFI based. EFI means UEFI. EFI means UEFI because I should choose generation 2. This is a SCSI controller. You can add a hard disk, extra hard disk, DVDs, shared folders. So this is my current hard disk where it is connected, and you can also edit if you want it. This is network adapters, list of network adapters listed here. You can also manage the bandwidths. These are all other things like automatic startup actions, stop actions, kind of stuff. It means if I shut down my physical machine, what to do with my virtual machine? Virtual machine go to nothing, or maybe virtual machine also shut down first, or maybe when I start my physical machine, virtual machine should be start automatically or manually. I have to start like this. This is start and stop kind of stuff is there. This is integration services. Integrate like a time synchronization, data exchanges, heartbeats are there. A lot of things to discuss, but we'll go back to once generation 1 and generation 2. Generation 1, all types of OS, all type of OS. It means 32-bit type of OS, 64-bit OS, okay, 32-bit type of OS, 64 type of bit operating system, anything like a Windows, Linux, Unix, okay, like that you can able to install. Next, BIOS based, BIOS based, you will get it. Okay, so BIOS based firmware you will get it. Okay, firmware or a BIOS based or a BIOS firmware based, anything you can use it. Next, generation 2, it is a limited support. What is generation 2? Limited support. Okay, only UEFI firmware based, okay, firmware based system. Okay, only 64-bit OS, only 64-bit OS. And earlier in 2016 and 2012 they mentioned Windows systems only, but I am telling, so in a Windows 64-bit UEFI based operating system in Windows, I am telling directly. So in Windows 7 also won't work here. Windows 8 compulsory, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10. Okay, 64-bit anyway, it is a 64-bit only. Windows servers 2012, 12 R2, 2016 and 2019. It means from 2012 onwards, what are the OSs there? So this is a we can able to run. Okay, compulsory 64-bit operating system in these editions. Windows 7 won't work, 2008 won't work even it is a 64-bit, because UEFI firmware based OSs are these things, not 7 and XP or a 2003 8 or a 2003 kind of stuff. Okay, only these things will work. But can I install Windows 8 64-bit in generation 1? I can install it. Can I install a 2016 server in a generation 1? I can do it, because generation 1 accept everything. Mainly all OS are BIOS based OSs only. Mainly BIOS is a one of the edition. So all BIOS based operating systems works here, both 32-bit and 64-bit wise. In generation 2 only UEFI based OS and 64-bit OS compulsory. Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10 newer versions means compulsory UEFI supported operating system. UEFI firmware based or supported operating system. Even Linux is also came with a UEFI base, like Linux CentOS 7, Red Hat 7, UEFI based. Still, I didn't touch tested it in a generation 2. Once I test it, I will confirm. Okay. Next, generation 1 OS. So OS physical CD, DVD. You can use physical DVD, ISO image. Okay, virtual floppy disk. Okay, VFD. Okay, virtual floppy disk, and also what are the other resources? Network based. Okay, we can install OS. We can use a physical DVD, ISO image files, or a virtual floppy disk, and through network also you can able to installation. In generation 2, OS can be installed only through ISO image files or network based only. Okay, you can't install with a physical DVDs, no physical DVDs. So this is another difference in a virtual machines. Okay, guys, understand generation 1 and generation 2 difference? Pooja, generation 2.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Understand, sir.
Very good. So this is hard disk. How to create a new hard disk? There is a new version of hard disk is also there. So we are already discussed in the virtual hard disk, VHD, VHDX, and fixed disk and dynamically expanding disk, right? But here you can see VHD set. This is a new in Windows 10. It is introduced in Windows 10 and 2016. 2016. Okay. VHD support 2 terabyte. VHDX support 64 terabyte. VHD set is a shared virtual hard disk. I don't know. I still not done any practically, because I didn't find any direct physical environment is required to do my all my practice, and I'm not doing much now. Okay, we have all virtual things. Systems are loading very slowly, so definitely someone will put some interest, so then we will find it what it is. Okay, so this is a new format, VHDS format. But okay, it's okay for VHD set if you not understanding, or if I don't tell. Okay, okay, but check it. VHD 2 terabyte, VHDX 64 terabyte, and VHD set is a shared virtual hard disk only, enabled backup for a virtual machines group using a shared virtual hard disk. And this format not supported operating system earlier than Windows 10. Okay, not there in a Windows 10. I'm very familiar with the 2012 server. Okay, so I done a lot of things in a. You can observe the difference between how I teach vSphere and Hyper-V. Hyper-V, I'm a certified in Hyper-V. Okay, I taught to a lot of batches Hyper-V. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, next, different type of disk are there. You can see Fixit disk. What is a Fixit disk? Once you created a virtual hard disk, like a 10 GB hard disk you created, and it occupy in your physical hard disk, like you have a D drive. In the D drive, this virtual hard disk is created. It occupied entire 10 GB initially. Dynamically expanding virtual hard disk. Like I created dynamically expanding hard disk 10 GB, but it won't occupy 10 GB in a physical drive. In a D drive, for example D drive. In a D drive, I created a 10 GB virtual hard disk dynamically expanding. 10 GB virtual hard disk dynamically expanding, but it won't occupy 10 GB in a starting only. Okay, but fixed hard disk will occupy 10 GB in starting only. For example, my drive is 100 GB, free space is there. I created a fixed disk 10 GB. It occupies 10 GB. My free space is showing 90 GB. So now I'm taking 90 GB here. I created a 10 GB disk in my D drive. So how much it will occupy? Nothing. It's a 4 MB in starting. Maximum 640 MB, like that only. If you keep putting a data into this virtual hard disk, then it will occupy from this one, main hard disk. So it is dynamically expanding based on how much data you are inserting. Okay, fixed size and dynamically expanding. Differencing disk is little bit tricky. I will explain, guys, now. But if you don't understand, it is okay. Okay, so differencing disk is, this is my main disk. It's a parent and child disk. So think like this is my parent disk. Think like this is my parent disk. This is my parent disk, and here I put some data. I put some data. So I created a virtual hard disk. The parent disk means I created a virtual hard disk. Simple virtual hard disk only, nothing more. It is just a virtual hard disk. There's no nothing. Okay. In that one, I put some data. I created a virtual hard disk. Okay. I created a virtual hard disk and I put some data. That's it. That is it. Now I want to modify. I want to modify some data in it. I want to modify this data, but if I do something wrong, what will happen? I have a data in my virtual hard disk. Now I want to modify or analyze, or I want to do something in it. If I do something in it, what will happen, guys? Anyone? Okay, no one is speaking.
Yes.
What will happen if I touch this data? I have a virtual hard disk. In that one, I have a data. So I have a data in my disk, right? So in my system, I have a data, right? So see, this is entirely my data. So if I touch this data, I do some modification or analysis, read and write. What is the possibility things will happen? Data may corrupted, altered, change, right? So problem for a main data. So what I'm doing is I create a small virtual hard disk, and I make this one as a parent, and I create a child disk. Okay, I created a child disk. For example, my parent disk name is P1, child disk name is C1. Okay, with the reference of parent disk, I create a virtual hard disk with the reference of my P1. So this entire data is visual here. This entire data shows here only. So I can modify this data or change the data. I can add something or delete something, and it won't, nothing will happen to our main data. Nothing will happen to our main data. If you modify anything, it modified here only. If you change something, here only. If you delete, if you do something here, it affects on this child disk only. Nothing will happen to your parent disk. So that is called a differencing disk. Already we discussed about fixed disk and dynamically expanding disk. But what is this differencing disk? Differencing disk is a parent and child type of relationship. Simple. You have a, so I will clear all the drawings first of all. It is very simple. You create a virtual hard disk. It is nothing but a virtual hard disk, and you put a your required data in the virtual hard disk. If you touch or you are modify or you do anything on this virtual hard disk, problem is your data may corrupted or damaged. So what I'm going to do is I created a child disk with a reference of this as a parent disk. Okay, so our parent disk data shows in child disk. Same data, no changes. Okay, when I change data, when I change something in the child disk, it not affect on my, it not affect on my parent disk. So parent disk data is safe. Child disk data is damaged or not damaged, no problem. But nothing is affect on your parent. Like this, I can create multiple type of child disk. I can create multiple child disk, and then I take data from the parent only, and I will do some work with a different analysis or modifications in a different child disk, but nothing will affect on my parent. So that is a differencing disk. Guys, anybody understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then it is okay. I don't ask what you understand also. Okay, so this is where you create, and how much size you can able to it. Already we know VHDX maximum 64 terabytes. If you create a VHD, okay, so whatever it is, it's 2 terabyte maximum size. Okay, so these are I don't go with much summary and all, just I'm canceling it. So this is to create a new virtual machine. So how to create a virtual machines once again. So when you create a virtual machine, you have to give proper name, location of the virtual machine, where you want to store, either generation 1 or generation 2. Generation 1 means 32 bit, 64 bit. Okay, BIOS based operating systems, Windows and Linux, Unix based operating system also works in generation 1. Normally VMware, all other kind of stuff, you can select Windows, Linux, like that, but here no options, only generation 1 and generation 2 only. Okay, in a generation 2 it will only support UEFI based operating systems. Newer operating systems are there, and 64-bit operating system only. 64-bit UEFI based operating system, example Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016 and 2019 operating system. You must test with a Linux based, any new Linux like a Red Hat 7 or CentOS 7. We can try on a generation 2 also. Next, in a generation 1, okay, so I will go to the generation 1. So okay, sorry, you can also give startup memory and dynamic memory. If you want to check, you can check it. Dynamic memory means If virtual machine need a more RAM, so then it will take a more RAM automatically from your physical RAM. Okay, so this is for network connection. So we'll go after this one, guys. This is a virtual hard disk. How much virtual hard disk you want to assign, you can assign it also. For example, I want to give 160 GB. Okay, like that. Next, it is a generation one, so you can insert a operating system. You can install a OS and virtual machine from physical DVD, ISO images, and virtual floppy disk and network based connection. Why it is disabled? Why it is disabled? Because of network is not connected. If network is not connected, network based installation won't happen, right? So then we are going to this one. See, like this. Okay. Next, in a generation 2, only network based installation and ISO image file installation only happens. It won't work with the generation 2, not work with the physical DVDs and CDs, and no virtual floppy disk also. So these are the main points in a virtual machine creation, and then also I told virtual hard disk. So next part I will tell about virtual network manager. um, yeah, just tell me how many people can able to continue with the same lesson. Otherwise, next section I will go directly with Python.
Start Python, sir.
Start Python. Very good.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So tomorrow I will first section, first half an hour. I'll finish the virtual manage switch kind of stuff. Okay. So Raj is try to set something. It's a only single hand class now, so that is